I would normally open this up with me singing some Vicente Fernandez, but I don't want to damage anyone's ears potentially, so let's just take a moment to imagine what that would sound like. Pretty good at singing, I know. But with that little hint, of course, we're talking about Mexico, my beloved motherland. Mexico is known for its rich love of culture and honestly just combat sports. UFC and MMA world as a whole has been trying to get into what they see as like an untapped market of potential. Let's look at an attempt to test the limits of their appeal as we go to Mexico City for UFC 188. UFC 188 took place on June 13th, 2015 in Arena Ciudad de Mexico in Mexico City, Mexico. They had an attendance of just over 21,000 and with a 300,000 buy rate. The Golden Team, Mike Goldberg, Joe Rogan, they're the commentators for this event. But enough of this preamble, let's just get to the fights. We're going to open up with a women's strawweight fight between Tisha Torres and Angela Hill. Angela Hill being a woman who's basically guaranteed to be on a ton of boys' lists for people. Fight opens up. Angela's pressing forward while Tisha's kicking off her back foot whenever she can. In the clinch with some back and forth stalling. Torres does get a takedown though pretty soon after. I'm just going to save us some time here. Nothing happens. We're in half guard the rest of the round, so let's just chalk this up as a win for Tisha. Second round, Angela's moving forward. She stuffs a takedown. Tisha's able to stay on the outside. She's being active, but then she just goes for another takedown about a minute in. Once again, I'm just going to press this fast forward button. And okay, yeah, we're going to get a ref stand up, 40 seconds left. Oh no, Tisha shoots again. At least it's stuffed this time. And they're just in the clinch for the rest of the round. Okay, 2-0 Tisha. Cool. More of the same happens in round 3. Angie's pushing forward finally with some success. But Tisha changes levels, pins Angela Hill to the cage. Nothing happens. Tisha Torres wins a unanimous decision. 2 out of 10. Oh, man. This card's going to be rough, isn't it? Maybe this will help us out, because we have a pretty awesome featherweight fight between Yair Rodriguez versus Charles Rosa. Yair circling, he goes for a wheel kick, then he throws a scissor kick, knocks Charles Rosa down briefly. Yair catches a kick, trips Rosa, then follows him to throw a flying knee. This creates a scramble. Yair's on the bottom, but he goes for a triangle. Yair escapes by wall walking, only to get tossed on his back again, but Yair escapes only because Rosa goes for a leg lock that fails. Yair knocks the mouthpiece out with a jab, but the round ends before he can get anything more going on the feet. Second round, we see Yair's wonky wide punches coming in, but a big low kick knocks Rosa down momentarily. Yair's landing really good shots, and when he goes for a spin, Rosa clinches up on him. Yair just trips Rosa down, gets mount briefly, and they scramble up. Rosa started the fade. You can see his gas tank failing him, and he goes for a takedown with seconds left in the round. Yair reverses it into mount and just starts going for elbows. Round 3, Rosa gets Yair down clean again, and he's controlling well, but Yair goes for another triangle. This is also close. Rosa was doing well on the ground. He's trying to fight time, which is right now his biggest enemy. Yair's doing well to fight off his back, and you know what? He survives, and he gets a split decision win. Honestly, this fight's actually pretty fun. I always forget how good this fight is. 8.5 out of 10. It could have been like an all-time classic, but Rosa's gas tank was failing him, and that stops it for me, because that first round's amazing. Next up, we have Kelvin Gaston taking on Nate Marquardt in a battle of the old vet trying to stop that rising star. Outside of a brief takedown from both guys, this round is just Gaston putting lefts on Marquardt. Left straights, left body kicks, left hooks, left uppercuts. The gang is all here, even a left knee to the body. Gaston hurts Marquardt, flurries on him hard, but Marquardt survives. Second round, it's more of the same, but the body shots are really hurting Nate big time. Nate kind of crumbles to the mat, but he's getting smashed on by Gaston. Nate gets a big stand up by tripping the leg when Gaston looks to posture up. Gaston goes for a takedown, and Nate just kind of crumbles in the clinch. Gaston was trying to set up a submission instead of just smashing on Nate, thankfully, and Nate survives the round, but the corner throws in the towel. Kelvin Gaston wins a TKO here. This fight was hard to watch, I'm going to be honest. 4 out of 10, it could easily be higher because it wasn't like a bad fight. It's just hard to watch. That prolonged beating in round 2 was hard. So I think 4 because of how I felt watching it. So now we have a potentially pretty fun fight. Maybe the score's going to turn around after that opener. As we have the king of the lightweights from Strikeforce, Gilbert Melendez, taking on the guy considered the king of lightweights in Bellator, Eddie Alvarez. Big elbow lands for Gilbert, and it hurts Alvarez bad. He stays up on his feet. He doesn't get finished. But after the mat, it's a lot of staring. Got a bad feeling about this. They stare each other more in round 2. Some shots landing here and there, and a brief Alvarez takedown, but nothing really happens though. They're just kind of throwing shots at range, hoping for something, then staring into each other's eyes. Final round, Alvarez gets another brief takedown, then we get some holly homing afterwards. More staring, then another Alvarez takedown, with Melendez getting back up quick. Stuff actually happens though near the end, with a spinning back elbow landing for Alvarez that slices Gilbert up. Yeah, that's it. That's the fight. I'm not sure what Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan were watching because they said it was pretty good. But Eddie Alvarez wins a split decision. You know what's funny? On the script it says 4 out of 10 here. Nah, I'm gonna go with a 3 out of 10 because stuff did happen. I had the pillow. I took a little nap during it. It was a nice little 10-minute nap, and then I woke up, read some comics, and they were reading the scorecard. I'm joking. I watched this whole fight for you guys. So, main event time, we have Cain Velasquez, a guy who was potentially in the GOAT list for heavyweights. When he was in his prime, no one had ever seen anything like that, and we haven't still. Cain was grimy, gritty violence on a crazy scale, and it was awesome. And he's taken on the interim champ at the time, Fabricio Dr. Doom Werdum. So this actually comes from the UFC's attempts, like I was saying, to use Cain to get in the Mexican market. So I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret that you may not be aware of. And this is someone, I'm half Mexican, you know, as I mentioned before. Tons of full-blooded Mexican people in my family. And I've talked with people who were in my family from Mexico and, you know, born and raised here as well. Talked to a good mix at the time. And they said he was just too big to relate to. My grandpa was like, oh, he's Mexican, that's cool. But I don't know, we're not that big. Yeah, kind of funny that it didn't really work out. Heavyweight title fight in a location high above sea level? What could go wrong? Early on though, they meet in the middle and Cain forces a slip from Werdum when Verdum's going for a high kick. Cain's landing good shots in the clinch. Cain gets cut somewhere in the clinch and they break away, with Werdum looking for a knee, but he gets taken down. Once Werdum looks to attack or gain some level of control, Cain just lets him back up. But now we're trading shots back and forth. Werdum catches a knee in the clinch, takes Cain down briefly. This is an insane pace. Werdum is starting to build momentum in round 2. He's landing more shots and exchanges. Cain is slowing down, and Werdum is taking advantage more and more every second. And just saying Cain Velasquez is slowing down is insane. His nickname was Cardio Cain, and he's exhausted. Like, he's clearly slowing down. And he starts to wobble and get hurt as Werdum clobbers him. Werdum takes this round back after getting lit up a little bit in round 1. In round 3, there's some moments of success for Cain, like with the lead leg head kick, but Werdum is still there, still putting shots on Cain. Cain is slowed down almost to a crawl and just shoots a double. Werdum instantly goes for the guillotine and Cain taps out. Werdum is the new heavyweight champion of the world. I gotta give this fight a 7.5 out of 10. Cain gassing hurts it. I like a little bit more of a competitive fight, but the pace was still pretty insane in round 2, and in round 1 especially. Insanity. Just an insane pace this fight had. This card sucks. The altitude played a major factor in the quality of these fights. It makes things really awkward when cardio fails fighters. It's one of those things I feel like you can't train for 100%, like high altitude, without going there and training, or training at altitude already. Like if you train in Denver, then go to Mexico City. It's probably not the craziest thing in the world. You kind of need that, and Cain not going there really hurts it. A lot of fighters, you can tell, weren't going to Mexico early. Yeah, I don't know. 4 out of 10 sounds fair to me. The Yair fight was a highlight, and the first round of the main event was awesome. That's it for me. Sorry this took so long to come out. Been very busy in my personal life, but I'm glad to be here, glad to keep doing it. And if you want a retro review done, you know, something you request, maybe your favorite card ever, maybe a card you saw live and you want to kind of have me talk about it, and you know, or a card you hate, or maybe a card you know I'll hate. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe you want to torture me. I don't know. You to do that, you can join our Patreon. And as a bonus, you get to request anything. But the real meat on that sandwich there is you get all our content, exclusive content, and content early. It's the best way to support us if you're fans of us. Our Patreon is just the absolute best way to do it. So if you're interested, I highly encourage it, obviously. And we try to make it worth your while as well on our end. We're always looking to add more and more things on there. So definitely check it out if you're interested. But I'm Joe with the INC. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.